Hey everybody, what's going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. It's Monday, which means it's time for another one of our viewer specials. For those who are unfamiliar, every week on Monday we do the viewer special, which is where we feature duels from you all, the viewers. I like to do this to showcase a variety of decks from a variety of players, as I believe that is the best way to get better at the game, is to be exposed to as many decks and players as possible there. Plus, it's just a nice way of getting you all a chance to get in some of your really cool replays and kind of be able to show them to a wider audience. Plus, I like watching all your games. You all have some very nice submissions there. If you are wondering how to submit a deck for the, or a replay rather, for the viewer special, then the main piece of information I'll need from you is your 9-digit player ID as featured here. That'll allow me to view all the public replays you have saved. Do make sure that you're saving them publicly, because if they're not public, I'm not able to then view them. So another piece of information that's really helpful is if you want to just throw in the username of the opponent you played against or the date and time of the game, just so I know specifically which game you'd like me to feature there. It also helps if you want to throw in like just a little blurb about the game, if you want to give me a little bit of info, like, you know, I played this deck versus this deck, or just talking a little bit about how the game went, however you want to do it. I do end up watching pretty much every single one of the games that are submitted, so regardless of if the game gets featured or not, don't worry, I do end up seeing it. And feel free to submit as many games as you would like. Even if I don't end up featuring yours one week, you can definitely submit for the next week, and then the one after that, and so on and so forth. I really just, the only thing I ask is that you don't spam like the same game over and over again. But if you have a bunch of different games, again, feel free to submit as many as you would like. If you're wondering where and how to submit duels for the viewer special, you can either go ahead and throw them in the comment section below, or if you want to check out my Twitter, linked in the description below, I have a pinned tweet right at the top of my profile where you can throw a reply to that tweet with your information for the replay as well. So either spot is a good place to get, either the YouTube comment section or the pinned Twitter thread on my profile. Again, that can be found linked in the description below. But in any case, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these games from you all today. Okay, so our first game for this video comes to us from Drummond here, who has a duel. It should be this one, I believe, where they are playing Generaider versus Dragon Lake. So I was eager to watch this one because Generaider is a deck I haven't actually come up against that often, but from what I've seen / heard about it, it does seem like a pretty good rogue deck, so definitely eager to see it in action here. So, oh my god, you have a Royal Imperm, it looks so nice. World Legacy Monstrosity is a card I'm vaguely familiar with. This is the one that allows you to, summon a bunch of level 9 monsters from your deck. Makes sense as the generators are all level 9 here. This is the Omni Negate, if I recall correctly. Yes, by attributing to Generator and or Spellcaster monsters, the Spellcaster monsters being the tokens summoned off of the field spell. That was kind of the deck's one play before the new wave of support. Now they have Vala, as well as the other support there, which allows them to go into more of their Xyz monsters, including the newer one, Leviathan. That's a little bit I do know about generators, so let's see how this duel proceeds. I'm pretty interested. So we're going to start by using Vala to pitch Har and then summon her. Vala will then bring back the Har that was then pitched. We get to activate World Legacy Monstrosity, but opponent's going to use the Ash Blossom against that. Thankfully, though, we do have the Called By, so that'll allow us to still summon quite a few level 9 monsters here. I think we'll have 4, because this summons 2, right? Hang on, if the game will let me... Yes. 2 different... Yeah, from their deck, yep. That's so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the effects aren't even negated. They just can't attack, which is like, oh no. So we have the boss stage, and then we get to overlay 3 level 9 monsters for the Leviathan Generator boss of Storms, is it? Yes, Shadows, not Storms. Anyway, during the opponent's draw phase, we're going to go ahead and get the Loptier, as well as fill our board with the Generator tokens as well. Excuse me. So here's the Starleash Seifert. We get to go ahead and summon the Nidhogg. Nidhogg, I believe, will allow you to negate summons. Okay. But it's got a Call By for the, or not Call By, a Cross Out for the Imperm here. Call By would actually not have done it, but Cross Out specifically will in this case. So The Sterling Seyfried effect will resolve, but still looking a little bit dicey for our Dragon Link opponent here, as they have to play through Har, as well as any number of things here. So, yes, I say any number of things because I don't know specifically what's going to happen. I know the Leviathan, yes, is going to go for, I believe, the Jormungandr. And then that'll allow us to attach those monsters from our opponent as materials. So, yeah, Jormungandr does end up being a lot of your disruption there. You can summon it, as we saw, off the Leviathan, and then once summoned, it eats basically your opponent's monsters as materials there, which is pretty good stuff. Although I don't know if that's part of Leviathan's effect from any field. Okay, so yeah, that is part of Leviathan's effect. And the materials for this card are 2+, which is kind of what allows you to, I believe, steal multiple cards from your opponent's board. So, cool stuff, and definitely very scary. The ability to throw out not only such a big board clear into a big boss monster, but again, remember that we had the Har. That's actually not Har, that's Hela. We were sitting on the Har for a long time too, which is, again, a bit of an Omni-Negate there. So, Generaider, very awesome deck. Thank you very much for showing that off for us, Drummond. We have a couple more duels to check out, so let's go into the next one here. Alright, so our next duel comes to us from the one and only best of the Toadettes, who has a game where they are playing Punk Therion versus Scareclaw Kashira, I believe it was. So, let's go ahead and see this. This is a Punk variant that I have not featured on the channel, because I don't have a lot of the Therion cards. But it makes sense why it's good. The Therion's put out a lot of level 7s and 8s, which are pretty good with the Punk tuners here. Oh my god, look at this. This is such a good going second hand. We have the Draw Phase Maxi, we have the Gamma, we have the Ash Blossom. We're big chillin', we're so good. And this is actually, I was just about to say this. A lot of the reason why Draw Phase Maxi is particularly good right now is not just because of playing around stuff like Triple Tactics talent, but also the Kashiras are all inherent, or I'm going to get a lot of flack for using that phrase. That's an unofficial phrase. They are all special summons that do not start a chain specifically. So when a Kashira monster is special summoned, it's not like an activated effect that you can chain Maxi to. The Kashira monster will just get summoned to the field, and then you'll get asked if you want to activate Maxi. There are some monsters that summon themselves that do it this way. This is the same kind of summon that Extra Deck summoning is as well, so just kind of think of it like that, if that helps. But here we get to use Gamma to negate and destroy the unicorns, so no Kashira spell card and no Extra Deck banish. Opponent does have the Fenrir to follow up, but we're just going to go ahead and use the Ash Blossom to negate the Fenrir search here. The Fenrir does get to banish the Gamma, but that's totally fine, because they don't really have any plays beyond that. So we get to go ahead and just take our turn here. Foxy Toon is going to go ahead and activate. Opponent's got a Maxi, but thankfully we have the... Oh, we have the Gamma, but that's right, the driver is gone. So the Maxi is going to end up resolving. Oh, I didn't even think about that. For some reason, you know, it's because I was thinking about that, it's funny because I didn't forget that the driver was banished, but for some reason I thought we were on Psyframe Punk, like from the last viewer special. So I just assumed we had another driver. For some reason I thought that was the case, but whatever the case may be, we are going to end up going in some Punk plays here. There is the Rising Carp that does thankfully resolve. Ash Blossom on the Rising Carp is brutal, and with playing into Maxi, we could have very easily walked into that, although I don't think, yeah, our opponent hasn't used the Ash Blossom yet either. Going for Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis. That is going to allow us to send some insect and/or plate monsters from our deck to the graveyard. Mainly, where I think we're just setting up some of our Therion stuff here, but it also allows us to, or I guess rather the Deer Note allows us to bring back the Rising Carp, which will set up some rank 8 plays potentially here. Looks like we're using Ash Blossom to negate the Magnum Hut search here. Ogre Dance is activating to get the Sharakusai, and we haven't normal summoned yet, so we get to normal summon the Sharakusai. Special the Duke Yul. Duke effect will allow us to add the Disc Coliseum, which will then allow us to add a Therion monster, this time King Regulus. And by summoning that, we get to set up an Omni Negate here, which is nice. Alright, sinking the Sharakusa and Rising Carp. We're just going straight for the Psychic End Punisher. No, the Amazing Dragon, of course. The Amazing Dragon will allow us to bounce our opponent's monsters back to their hand. And then, oh, the Rising Carp, because we actually synced with it, allows the Amazing Dragon to attack twice this turn. That's cool. That's actually pretty nice. It's not needed, but it's still really cool. So, awesome stuff. Love to see it. We all know how much I love Punk, so thank you, Toadette, for showing off this particular variant that we haven't seen on the channel yet. Good stuff. We definitely have another game to watch, though. Let's go straight into that one here. And our final game for... You know what? Actually, I'm looking at the timer, and I think I might throw in one extra duel here. Normally, I do 3 games for the viewer special, but the ones we've seen so far have been relatively quick, and I think this one is, at least as far as turn count goes, is a little bit on the shorter side as well, so we'll actually do one more after this. But in any case, our next game comes to us from EJ 2011. EJ has a game here against the Snaily Boy, I love your opponent's name there, where they play Sword Soul against Traptrix. In particular, I think there was a note that you left that we're playing through a ton of disruptions on our turn here. It looks like that's going to be the case indeed, as we are going second. Ooh, that's a really good going second hand, though. We not only have Maxi and Ash Blossom, but also Ecclesia and Ashina as well. And Desires. This is actually, like, if you could sculpt a going second hand, I think the only thing I would do differently is, like, maybe instead of Ashina or Desires, an Imperm. But otherwise, this is, like, an ideal going second hand. So, good stuff. Snaily Boy is going to start off with the Traptrix Mantis. We are negating that with the Ash Blossom. But, of course, they get to summon the Sarah. We do get a draw off the Maxi, so we do at least get a pretty nice bit of ammo as our opponent is going off and summoning a bunch of monsters here. The Holieta, the... oh, I always forget what this one's called. Dianea, that's it there. Alright, now we're overlaying for the Rafflesia, I'm assuming. Yes, there's that, as well as a whole bunch of back row. And opponent's going to end up passing, giving us quite a bit of advantage in the process. I believe we're starting off with +2 more cards than we normally would, so it's pretty nice. Opponent's got a Floodgate Trap Hole for the Ecclesia, but we're just going to go ahead and get to respond with Ecclesia's effect, so they definitely should have waited on that Floodgate Trap Hole. They do get some of the Prudica as a result and try to negate the Moye, but we actually have the Heavenly Dragon Circle for that, so we get to dodge the negate and still summon our Sword Soul token, which is pretty nice. Oh no, sorry, we don't actually summon the Sword Soul token. Oh, that's because the Moye hadn't had a chance to activate yet. Hadn't it only been summoned as part of the resolution of the chain? I think that's what happened. Anyway. Opponent's going to Gravedigger's Trap Hole to negate the Vishida, but that's totally fine. We have a ton of gas in hand, so Ashina's going to go ahead and be activated next. Opponent's going to use Rafflesia in response and negate the Ashina with yet another quote-unquote copy of Gravedigger's Trap Hole. The Pot of Desires, unfortunately, does not end up doing a whole lot for us here, as we end up drawing just Ashina and Callby, which we already have both of in hand. We do still have another Moye, though, because we didn't activate earlier, we get to activate the effect now, summoning a Sword Soul token. While we have that token out, we can use Ashina to pull an Adhara from the deck. After that, we're going to go ahead and go for the Chi Xiao. Of course, as always, ever chain blocking it with the Moye to make sure we're getting our search, and we get a draw in there. That Ash Blossom could end up being very relevant here. Gonna end up adding a Taya, as we already have both Emergence and the Long Yan here. Muck of the Tinny is gonna get summoned off the Adhara. Adhara then gets to wheel the Vishida back to our hand. Long Yan's gonna be activated, sending the remaining Ashina in hand. And then we sync off for a level 10 Synchro. Not a Baron here because we have used the Adhara, or sorry, the Ashina effect earlier, but it looks like we're going for a Chengying. We then get to Emergence for an Adhara. Oh, I thought we were going for Protoss there. We have a Call by Us. We're gonna end up proccing the Chengying here. Looks like Protoss would have been really good calling Earth here. But all the same, we'll banish cards from our opponent's graveyard as well as their back row, and we get to just battle everything into the Traptrix Sarah. It may not be able to be destroyed by battle because of the Traptrix Garden, but with having 0 attack points, it's pretty much the same as just getting to attack directly anyway. So, good stuff there. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, we do have quite a bit of time left here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab another game for us, and then we'll finish off the video. Alright, so our last game for this video is going to come to us from Meldus. Meldus has a match where they are playing Tears against Branded Despia. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one here. And as you can see with 6 turns there, that's going to be at least a little bit longer than some of these other games here. Where not that I mind having the short games, of course, that allows us to get more duels in a video there. And they were still some pretty exciting games. So looking at our opening hand here, yeah, definitely not that great. I might have debated just keeping the Kelbeck in hand, but the hand is pretty much all disruption here, right? Maxi, Ash Blossom, Kelbeck, Havnus, and Druistorm could all theoretically be used as disruption. Similarly, I might have held off on the Maxi during the draw phase just because we would have liked to have drawn some amount of gas here, but all the same, we should probably be all set here. What do our opponents start with? Oh, the Bestial Lubellion, I see. Going for a Magnum Hut. Following that up with a Branded Opening, they're going to send the Spriggan's Kit in order to add a Dramaturge of Despia. It's a pretty surprising add, but less so when we see that they already have the Alibur Jester of Despia in hand. Still, to add the Dramaturge definitely shows that they are looking to summon it and try to OTK this turn. So, looks like on top of that we are using the Druistorm on the Lubellion. I might have held off on the Druistorm a little bit because sometimes banishing Albaz ends up being the better play. But to be fair, the Lubellion does need to get banished before it would be able to be summoned, because a lot like the Kashira monsters we were talking about earlier, it is a summon that does not start a chain link. So opponent is going to end up resolving the Branded Fusion, fusing the Dramaturge that's in their hand, interestingly enough, with the Albaz. That actually makes even less sense why they added it, because, you know, they could have just sent it from the deck to the graveyard, but... Oh, no, they wanted to... Okay, they wanted to get the effect off, that's right, because Dramaturge only activates if it was sent from the hand or field to the graveyard. That makes a little more sense. Okay, so here is the Mirror Jade now. Maxi getting us a good bit of draws here. Mirror Jade activating as well. And it looks like we're going to end up banishing the Havnus here and negating the Druistorm. Although the Druistorm, I believe, will still activate, even though, yeah, the Dramaturge tried to negate it there. So the Mirror Jade, of course, will also activate, but doesn't really matter. We're losing our Kelbeck anyway and don't have any monsters left at the end phase. So we're actually looking really nice here, all things considered. We really only have to play through their face-down Branded Banishment, but otherwise, they don't really have anything in the way of disruption on their field. And we got a nice refill of our hand thanks to the Maxi there. So, Tearlaments is going to add Rhino Heart, which will then normal summon and then activate to send Havnus. Havnus will fuse itself with the Rhino Heart. Here is our Tearlaments Kiklos, who's going to get our play started by activating here. We also get to go ahead and use the Pearl Rhino to pop the Dramaturge. Dramaturge will get to negate the Kiklos. And the opponent is going to end up chaining the Branded Banishment to bring back the Mirror Jade. Probably not even planning... Well, I guess they could still fuse, actually, with another monster on their field. Yeah, because you don't actually have to use the thing that you brought back with Banishment to fuse. Ooh, this will allow them to summon Dragostapelia, and then I believe bring back the Dramaturge via its own effect as well. But Dramaturge's effect is a hard once returned, so it's not like it can negate a different card here. Now we get to use Triple Tactics talent to take the Mirror Jade and battle over the Dragostapelia. That's going to get rid of all forms of disruption on our opponent's board. And while we don't necessarily OTK this turn, we do still have a lot of opportunities to get so far ahead that we will effectively win the duel on this turn. We're adding... Ooh, this game is from a while ago, isn't it? Was that a second copy of Soliak? I believe, yes, that was a second copy of Soliak there. Alright, so here is the Dark Charmer Glume. He's going to be bringing back our opponent's Mirror Jade yet again. Although, we stole it last time from the field with Triple Tactics talent, to be fair. Alright, here's Sprend. Sprend is going to send a Murley. Murley F is going to allow us to fuse yet again. This time we're going for a Mud Dragon of the Swamp. And passing back over to the opponent. So opponent does still have a few monsters on the field, but not necessarily any that by themselves would threaten our board state here, as we have a lot going on here. We're gonna get to use a combination of Fairy Tale Snow and Tearlaments Soliac. Oh, we're not gonna use Tearlaments Soliac to disrupt our opponent, actually, because, yeah, we don't have a Tearlaments monster on our field. I thought we did for some reason, but I guess because we have a bunch of monsters on our field, I assumed one of them was a Tear. Opponent is trying to summon the Vert here, but we have an Imperm for it, so no resolving that branded fusion for them, and I think that's going to go ahead and end up doing it as far as what they're able to do, so. Alright, we're just immediately shotgunning the Super Poly, fusing our Mud Dragon with the opponent's Vert Anaconda. It's going to allow us to go into the Perennial Plant Dragostapelia. Oh, didn't turn the Snow to attack mode, but... Oh, that is actually going to matter. We're 300 points short. No! We should have turned Fairy Tale Snow to attack mode. Still, our opponent's pretty much in top deck mode, and I imagine does not have enough in order to mount a comeback. They're going to try to summon Saranir, but we've got a Mudora to prevent that. Normal summon Valor, and then, yeah, they're just going to battle straight into our thing. They're going out on their own terms, which I gotta say, you know, can't blame them. Alright, that was a very nice game. Thank you there, Meldus, and that's going to go ahead and do it for our viewer special. So thank you all very much for tuning in for that. Much appreciated. And again, if you want to submit any amount of duels, as long as, again, we're not just spamming the same one over and over again, feel free to submit those, again, in the comment section below or over on that Twitter thread that's pinned on my profile there. So that's going to go ahead and do it. Let's move now to our outro. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end of the video like this. That means a whole lot to me. Not just personally, but it's also a great way of supporting the channel as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other means, you can of course feel free to comment and or subscribe right here on YouTube. I'm always looking to the comments section. You guys leave some pretty awesome feedback as far as like constructive criticism goes when it comes to deck building, gameplay, channel content, all that stuff. So feel free to leave your opinion down there. I will be sure to take a look at that there. And then subscribing is going to be the best way to get notifications of when these videos drop. That does happen every day, by the way, so if you're looking for daily Master Duel content, you've come to the right place. And there are more places where you can get some daily Master Duel content. If you check out the description below, follow the top link over to my Patreon page. There for just $5 a month, which is as much as you pay for a booster pack. You'll find a lot more value than a pack full of filler over there. We've got some previews for content upcoming here on the channel. We've got some exclusive games that are only posted over on Patreon over there. We've got some Q&As, and then you can also have your name featured in this lovely credit sequence where I thank all of the people who are helping contribute over there on Patreon. It's a huge support to the channel, and it really means a lot as well. So thank you everyone who is donating that is featured here on screen. And again, you know, it's not just a pure donation. You do get some more daily Master Duel content over there just for being a part of the Patreon. But I think that's about all the time that I have for today's video. Once again, I just want to thank you so very much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. Again, it just means a lot as I do put a decent amount of work into getting these videos out every single day. But that's about all the time that I've got for now. So without further ado, this is XLex. I'm signing out, and I hope you have a fantastic day.